Kyle's bedside, Tom listens to a report about a comet that will pass close to Earth. Tom's wife, Linda, enters the room. The 3 years while the guy has been in a coma have not been easy for the woman, and she wants a fresh start in life. The Department of Homeland Security in Seattle. Diana is urgently called to work, where she's informed that the comet has changed course and increased its speed, descending directly upon the Earth. Several countries launch missiles hoping to shoot down the strange object, but people prepare for the disaster, calling their loved ones to say goodbye. The comet begins to slow down as it enters the atmosphere. Diana calculates the point at which the object is about to land. It turns out to be very close to the department. Hundreds of people arrive: emergency services, journalists, police, and FBI agents. In front of them, the sphere falls from the sky. The sphere abruptly disappears, leaving behind thick mist from which 4,400 people emerge, looking around in astonishment. Among them are Richard the soldier, the old millionaire, little Maya, and all the others. They all look the same as the day they disappeared, even though it was different years of the 20th century. Tom leaves his son and goes to Ryland to get permission to return to duty, but Dennis is in no hurry to agree, realizing that Tom has a personal interest. His nephew is among those who have returned. Ryland finally agrees, and despite Diana's displeasure, he pairs Tom with her, assigning them to examine the returning 4,400 people. Over the speakerphone, Sean is asked to come in for an interview. Seeing his uncle makes the guy happy that he can talk to his own family man. But it turns out that all 3 years Tom has been convinced that his nephew has hurt Coolio, which put him in a coma, and escaped. While sitting in the waiting room, Richard meets Lily, who turns out to be the granddaughter of the girl the soldier was in love with in 1951. A month and a half passes, and the district court upholds the request to release the detainees. Diane disagrees and demands that the crowd be isolated from the surrounding area, but the 4,400 people go free. Of them, 130 do not understand where they are going. Among them is little Maya, who has no relatives left. Richard and Lily say goodbye, and the woman is about to return to the family she has not seen in 11 years. But Lily does not see her husband among those meeting her. The girl makes it home, but her husband Brian asks her to leave and announces that he is married and she has no place in their lives anymore. Orson finds his wife in a nursing home, and he too finds it hard to hold back tears, thinking of all the time he has lost. Richard arrives in St. Louis to his old address, but now he finds a den of homeless people there. Tom brings Diana to a party organized in Sean's honor, so his partner can be convinced that those who returned are no different from the rest of the people. After leaving his colleague for a while, Tom goes outside to see Sean to apologize and say he's glad he's back. During the conversation, a bird falls near the men, shattering on the glass, but as soon as Sean picks it up, the bird comes to life and flies away. Maya is taken into custody by her family, and as she says goodbye to Diana, the girl says they will see each other very soon, much to the agent's surprise. Orson returns to the company he once created himself, but his companion refuses to give him a job. The foster parents assign Maya a room, and the girl puts her shoes on a chair, claiming that her sneakers might get wet on the floor. This surprises the couple, and they have no idea what they are talking about. The first night out is hard for everyone. Richard spends his time at a cafe. Sean receives threats written on his car. Lily wanders the streets, not knowing where to go, and at Maya's foster parents' house, a pipe from the washing machine bursts and floods everything. Orson goes to his former companion's house. The cowardly businessman decides not to open the door, but when the old man shakes the bars of the gate, the whole house begins to shake and the windows fly out. Moments later, Orson begins to scream, and it causes Adam's head to burst and the traitor to fall to the floor. Sean comes to school after a long absence, but the boy has a hard time. His peers do not want to accept the return. Orson also feels rejected. He's not charged, but they won't let him go either. When Diana begins to read the man's statement, he goes berserk again, and everything around him begins to shake. Maya arrives with her guardians at the cemetery to visit her parents. The girl is happy that they rest in a beautiful place, but she also promises her foster parents that their cemetery will be no worse. A new shock awaits Lily. She goes to the doctor with a bout of nausea and learns that she's about to have a baby. After finishing his business, Orson hurries to the nursing home, but finds his wife's bed empty. After learning that his wife has passed away, the old man stages a mayhem. Lily meets her husband and tells him about the pregnancy, but naturally the man does not admit his involvement. In addition, he refuses to let his wife see his daughter, warning her that he will sue if there are violations. One of the guys won't stop picking on Sean, and the guy pins the abuser to the ground and holds his hand and pulls the life out of him. The guy manages to be saved, but by doing so, Sean scares the crowd even more. Maya's foster parents are frightened. The man says he no longer wants to see the strange girl in the house, and without even hearing the conversation, she packs her things. The couple bring Maya back to the quarantine facility, and the frustrated mother advises her to be careful about her predictions. Richard finds Lily in the park. The couple go to a cafe, and Lily tells her friend about the baby she's about to have. Richard, in turn, tells the girl about the affair he had with her grandmother. Tom and Diana arrive at the house where the returned is hiding. Orson does not believe the agents and asks to be left alone, starting to wreck everything again. To calm the old man's attack, Tom has to fire a shot. The returned man is taken to the hospital, and Ryland instructs his subordinates to find out what other talents the travelers have in order to prevent more tragedies. Upon learning what happened, Sean recalls the bird that came to life and the classmate who almost stopped breathing. To test his hunches, the guy goes to his cousin's room and brings him out of his coma for a minute. Carl, one of the returned, returns to his job at the fishmonger's shop. Walking with his wife Grace after work, the guy reminisces about his past life. Not far from the couple, youngsters are playing baseball, and Carl himself does not understand how the ball ends up in his hand. Grace warns her husband that the local park has become dangerous, but against her warnings, the guy decides to walk through it late at night. And Carl is attacked by bullies. He doesn't mind giving them everything he has, but instead he decides to use his new powers to teach the bullies a lesson. Tom and Diana visit Maya. After she returns, many employees complain about the girl's predictions, and Ryland asks his colleagues to deal with it. Richard rents an apartment for Lily and her baby, and the girl asks her buddy to stay with them. Suddenly, Lily becomes ill and rushes out into the street. Carl tells his wife about what happened and happily informs her that he will revive the park and make it safe again. The doctor calls Tom and Linda and informs them of their son's brief brain surge and new chances. Tom learns that the night the sensors showed the spike, Kyle was visiting Sean. The agent goes to see his nephew, but he won't admit to waking up his cousin. The agents pay a visit to the department that is parsing hypotheses, but so far the only hypothesis is aliens. At Lily's request, the couple rents another apartment, and the girl is so happy that she doesn't hold back and kisses a friend. Kyle can't wait until morning, and already at night he goes to the park to start the work of cleaning up. The guy manages not only to paint a bench, but also to save a girl from bullies. Diana visits Maya in the lab, and the girl asks the agent to take her in, but Diana asks for time to think. The girl rescued in the park gives a statement to Tom and Diana. She describes the superhero and recalls that he smelled like fish. In the meantime, Lily does not give up hope of getting her daughter back, and in the evening she watches her through the window. Suddenly, the woman becomes ill and it gives her away, causing her to end up behind bars. Richard comes to Lily's ex-husband and asks him to withdraw his complaint, promising that the girl will never bother him again. Already in the evening, Lily is released, and Richard arranges a romantic dinner for her. The man is willing to do anything for her, and a romance ensues between the two. Nikki visits Sean's garage and accidentally burns her hand, but the guy removes the burn with one touch. The couple's meeting also ends with a kiss, even though Danny asks his brother to stay out of it. Carl continues his nightly raids of the park, but by this time Tom and Diana figure him out and show up at his wife Grace's house. The woman leads the agents to where her husband is, and the company finds the guy seriously injured. Tom calls an ambulance, but it is too late. In memory of the returned, locals come to the park to clean up and finish what he started. Diana goes straight to the lab at night and picks up Maya. Tom also goes to the hospital. Kyle is transferred to the ICU because he has started having serious brain problems.